Welcome, baseball fans. We're here today to talk about field prep and field cleanup. This is the process we go through before and after the games to ensure that we have a great surface to play on and that the field doesn't degrade when we're not using it. So stay tuned. Yes, ma'am?
Why do you rake after a game?
Great question. We rake after games to make sure that the holes don't get filled in with the irrigation water overnight, because that causes mud holes and it causes soil erosion. So we need to make sure that we make the surface as flat as possible after the game is complete. For field prep, you're going to want to get a chalker. Make sure it's got chalk in it. 3 bases, your cleanup tool, your line, your drag, your hose, your rake, your broom, and a batter's box template. So the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to fill in all our big holes, and then we can go back and drag over the top of that. But you'll see in the batter's box, they'll be digging holes in the batter's boxes, and then as the batter exits the batter's box area, they'll be dragging extra dirt up into the first base path, and then also at the end there'll be a pile maybe by the first base where they've dragged the dirt that way. So what we want to do is when we're doing our baseline, we want to make sure that we're going along the base path. We don't want to go back and forth because that'll make a dip and make some big sidewalls where the grass is at. So we want to keep the dirt out of the grass. So here we're going to pull it back towards the batter's box to get some of that dirt back in the batter's box area. But we're really just trying to smooth this out, getting rid of all of these holes and divots. We want it to be as flat as possible without pushing any dirt into the grass. And then in our batter's box, we're going to pull the dirt back into the batter's box area so that we can fill those holes from when the batters have dug themselves in. So we're just pulling all this dirt. Use the back side of the rake, get some more dirt. We're going to spread it out though, making sure that we're going to have enough dirt up here by the plate to fill in the holes. Once we get this done, we'll go down the first base line, keep working towards the first base. But if we start to see the dirt getting pushed all the way up to first base, we're going to pull that dirt back down the first base line in an effort for keeping a mound being created by first base. So we're going to pull this back. We're going to fill in all of our cracks and crevices. As such. Then when we get over here to first base, a lot of times over here in first base we'll end up with a hole right here where the first baseman's been kicking dirt around. We're going to pull it back in to this hole here, smooth this out. But again, we don't want to create a mound here where first base is at. So we're pulling all this dirt back, filling in this low spot right here in front of first base. Then you're going to walk your diamond. Make sure you don't have any other big holes to fill in.
There's a bunch of holes over there.
And we're just getting this ready to do a drag on. So sometimes you'll end up on the third base line having another hole over here where the third baseman's working. So we want to pull that back in here. See how we got a little bit of a dip here? So that's all getting carried down the third baseline this way. So we're gonna get out here. We're gonna pull this back. Careful not to create a mound on third base. But we gotta get some of this material work back over here in this hole. Get it leveled out. Again, we don't want to push dirt into the grass or else we're going to create a lip. So again here, we're going to work in the direction of the base path. And we're just filling in all these little holes here. Making sure it's nice and even, nice and level. A little bit of a dip right there we got to fill in. Okay, so now we've got all our holes filled in. We're gonna go get our drag and we're gonna drag the infield to make it nice and level. Okay, this is our drag. We're gonna pull this throughout the whole infield. We wanna keep at least a foot or two away from the grass, or else it's gonna push the dirt into the grass and then we'll create that lip. So we'll come back later after we do our drag with our rake and get the last foot along the outside. Okay, when we get to the end here, we don't want to just drag this off. So we're going to take all of that dirt and put it in our grass. So we got to shake it off, roll it up, pick it up. Now we're going to clean up this last 1 foot around the perimeter without pushing any of the dirt into the grass. Right? So we're going to spread out this extra dirt we picked up. A lot of rocks. Holy crap, these rocks in here. We're gonna cut the audio on this. Keep it rolling. Okay. We're gonna cut the audio on this. We'll go with it like 4 times speed. Yeah. Right. Can you do that?
I don't know.
I'll figure it out.
How did you do it?
I did do it, didn't I? Yeah, I think it's pretty easy on the YouTube channel. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so on the pitcher's mound, you're gonna end up with a big hole dug right here in front of the rubber. You're gonna end up with a hole here in the landing spot. And so we just need to get those filled in and just build it back up. So what we're doing is we're gonna go through and just break all this up. Pulling everything back up towards the top. And coming over the back here. Now we're pulling stuff into the front landing area here. Pull this so that it fills in all the holes in the landing area. Okay. You just want a nice gradual slope here with no holes. Kind of pack it down. And we can get some water on it and do that again. Okay, next step. So the next step is going to be water. So these are a quick disconnect. You're going to want to make sure that you look at this tip here and there's nothing jammed up in there and it's nice and clean, because if this is dirty and you go to insert it into the spigot, it's gonna break stuff. So let's make sure we get this clean. It's easy. So back behind the pitcher's mound is your quick connect. So there's a little notch right here. You align that with your little nipple there, and then once you get it down in there, you twist clockwise until it's locked in. Almost 360-degree revolution. And then here's your on and off. Right here's the off position. You put it in line. May leak a little. Somebody left it on, that's awesome. So you twist your nozzle. I like it right about like that. And you're just getting the skin of the playing surface wet, right? So we're not trying to have any standing water. We're just getting the skin wet, and this is going to allow for better traction. And then on the foul lines, it will allow for the chalk to stick better. done, we come back over here. You're gonna turn it off. So we're turning that lever to the perpendicular position, and then you'll rotate this counterclockwise so it pops out. And you're gonna roll it up, put it back in the wheelbarrow. And then your first and third base, just the base part though, just the bottom part. So we're gonna get our clean out tool and our bases. So we want to, are you recording? Yes. We want to take out the plug, clean it out.
Ew. That's gross.
Put it in the base.
Can I do the next one?
Sure. You know, make sure it fits all the way down to the bottom. Then you take your plug and you put it back in your wheelbarrow. Ready? Perfect. So we're going to use our template. There's a long side and a short side. Put the long side to the back. You're going to line it up. Drop it down. Some people just step on it like this to make the mark. Or you could use something to trace it. I just step on it. Okay, and then when you flip it over, you want to flip it right over so you end up with this short side still on towards the picture. Same thing. Step on it to transfer your marks.
Or trace it.
Or trace it. There we go. Now we're going to want to use
The
our
chalker.
chalker. So we want to make sure we're on the 2 setting. See over here? There's 2 inches and 4 inches. We don't want to use the 4, we just want to use the 2. Okay, and the front wheels drive the chalk. So if you want to move it without dropping chalk, then you'd pop a wheelie. You line this white line is how you line it up. So I'm going to drop this. I'm going to pick it up. Flop it back down right where the front tires are at. The front tires mark where the chalk's at. And sometimes it doesn't lay down a nice thick line of chalk, so you can go back and forth, go in reverse, do her again if you want to get a nice thick line.
Oh, it's starting to rain. Are we almost done?
So next we're gonna do our foul lines. And that's why we already went ahead and put first base and third base in without the base on top.
Technical difficulties.
So when we do our foul line, we're gonna come right off the back of the plate here. Like so. We're gonna clip this in. We're gonna run it all the way out the baseline. Hopefully this doesn't catch on you. Run it right alongside the base, so the entirety of first base is in fair territory. Like so.
There we go.
We want our chalk line to be right on the outside of the line. So like I said before, our first base will be inside fair territory. That's it. We do the same thing on the first baseline, third baseline. Okay, so we're going to need to move our screwdriver here so that it's in line with the plate going down third base line. And same thing. We're going to
I'll meet you third base. And across the line we go. Struck on the wheel. All done.
So when you pull your line back in, stay on the inside, and then that way you're not dragging your line through the chalk. So all that's left to do at this point is to put the tops on first and third base and put second base in. Okay, now it's time to do the cleanup. The game's over. First thing we're going to do is we're going to use our broom and get any dirt that may have come off of the playing surface and into the grass. So recording?
Yes.
So there's a couple of different places you're going to want to look for this. Obviously all the way around the grass, but the trouble areas are going to be in and around the bases here. See that? And then in front of second base and shortstop where they play, they're going to be charging the ball and bringing dirt from their position onto the grass. So that's where you're going to want to come out here on this lip say this is where your shortstop's playing and continually coming forward, you're gonna wanna make sure we kick all this dirt back into the playing area. Same thing with second base here. You got your second baseman constantly charging forward, bringing all this dirt into the grass. So we'll put the dirt back where the dirt goes.
And a little bit of dead grass on accident.
You see here? See here, right here? You see how this dirt's getting up here? So eventually this dirt will work its way down into the grass and the grass will build up and we'll have a huge lip right here. So that's why we gotta get all that dirt out of the grass. Okay, so we're gonna get all the dirt back in the grass and then we're going to drag and rake, just like we did before the game. And the reason we have to do that is so that there's no dips and holes for the water when the sprinklers turn in to fill in and then, you know, wash away the dirt or create big mud holes. So we need to make sure that the surface is flat to avoid that.